Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome, and if you're a returning subscribers, thank you for coming back. In today's tutorial we will be learning how to make a milkmaid gathered gown with a Basque waistline. This is going to be very easy and very smooth, so make sure you follow me. Even if you're a total beginner, you're going to get it as much as you are willing to follow all the steps. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to draft out your basic bodies. Okay, I already made a tutorial on how to do that, so you can do well to check it out. So now I am marking out my waistline, okay, which is 19 inches. The person is tall and busty. Okay, so make sure you take the accurate measurement of your client. So I marked 19 inches from the beginning of my starting point till 19 inches, which is my waistline. So now the next thing I'm going to be marking is my under bust, which is 17 inches. So I marked it all around. That's like 2 inches above the waistline. Then I marked it to the point. I'm going to be working on both front and back simultaneously. Okay, so you can see that I divided my paper into two at the center. So one part is going to be for the front, one part is going to be for the back. If you've been watching my tutorial, I'm sure you're going to understand this. Okay, so now this is my bust point. That is what I'm marking. I'm marking my bust point from my shoulder line, and mind you, this is just for the front because it's in the front that we have the bust here. So that is why we are putting all of this horizontal lines here. So I'm just trying to label my lines. This is the bust point, and this is the under bust, and that is the waistline. So make sure that you measure as much, you label as much as possible. So I'm just labeling center, front, side, back, center, back, side, back. So now the next thing is the shoulder, which is 18 inches. So I marked 8, which is 16 inches. So I mark 8 inches. Then I came down 1 inch for shoulder slope. Then my neck width, I'm using 3.5 inches. So I'm going to be marking from the 3.5 inches to my 8-inch shoulder slope. Okay, so I'm going to do for the front and I'm going to do for the back. I told you that we are drafting both the front and the back simultaneously. So I'm going to put my armhole, which is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So that is your armhole, bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So I marked it all around, including my shoulder slope. Remember that we came down by 1 inch, so you have to add whatever you get plus the shoulder slope you came down. So if you got 8 inches, you're going to be adding 1 inch because of the shoulder slope. Then you mark it all across for the front and the back, and that is exactly what I did. So we are moving fast and we are moving forward. Okay, so now the next thing is to determine where our backline is going to be. So I came down 9 inches from my waistline. So you can make yours shorter. It's actually dependent on you, but for me, I'm working with 9 inches below my waistline for the backs to get that backs effect. Okay, so that's going to be very deep and sharp to get a V effect, you understand? So that is why I came down as much as 9 inches. So I just labeled the front and the back. So now the next thing is to connect the lines of the shoulder together. So I marked 8 inches on my chest line, which is also my armhole line, so that I'm going to be able to connect it to my shoulder. So I'm going to do the same thing for the back. You mark 8 inches from your center back, then you connect to your shoulder line so that we can draft out the armhole. So you need that. So we are getting there one after the other. So now remember that we are working with off shoulder. Okay, what we are doing is off shoulder. Okay, so now I'm going to be coming down by 4 inches on my shoulder slope. And on the chest line, this is actually dependent on you. I don't want to be too wide. Okay, so that is why I am coming in by 5 inches from my center front. You can make yours smaller, or you can make it wider or something. So that is totally up to you, but I don't want it to be too wide. Okay, that is why I came in by 5 inches from the center front. So I'm just trying to mark a broken line so that we are going to be able to work with um our new line to determine the neckline. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Just watch what I am doing. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back as well, so that they're going to be aligned. So you come down 4 inches by on your shoulder line, then from your center front or center back you go in by 5 inches. You can reduce it by maybe 4 inches, but I don't want it to be too wide. Then I don't want it to be too wide, so that's why I'm using this measurement. You can determine whatever you want to use for yours, but you know that I will always show you how I did mine. Okay, so I don't want it to be too wide. That was why I used this measurement. So now over to the next thing. So after you've gotten your broken line, the next thing is to put our horizontal measurement. So I'm going to be putting my bust circumference on the chest line. So bust circumference divided by 4. So whatever measurement I get, I'm going to be putting it on my chest line, as you just see me do, just like the normal way that we mark out our horizontal measurement. So now I'm going to be putting quarter of my waistline, also waist divided by 4. I'm going to be putting it on my waistline. Then on the back line, I'm going to be putting my hip circumference divided by 4. So after getting that, I'm just going to connect all of the lines together. So if you've gotten to this point and you're here to subscribe, please make sure you do so. Okay, so now I'm also going to be putting my under bust measurements, quarter of my under bust measurements, because I want it to be a bit fitted. I want it to be fitted under the bust, because that is where the gathers is going to end. Okay, so that was why I had to remark it, so that it's going to be fitted around the under bust area. So if you've gotten to this point and you're here to subscribe, make sure you do so. If you have any question as well, put it in the comment section. I'm going to attend to it. And if you're confused about any part, just put it in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you have any request, any tutorial you would like me to work on, let me know. So from the center back, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch, so that I'm going to by so doing, you're going to prevent puffing around on the when you place your zipper. Okay, you know that the back is not straight, so your waistline is a bit curvy and deep, so that is why we also need to alter our pattern paper to follow the body shape. So you come in by 1/2 inch so that your zipper is going to lay properly on your waistline after doing that. So I'm going to be putting quarter of my bust circumference on the chest line, and I'm also going to put the quarter of my waistline. But before that, I'm going to be putting that on the back. Okay, at the back. So there's going to be that at the back, and I'm going to be opening my darts by 0.5 inches on both sides. You can decide to make yours wider. Okay, but I'm just going to use 0.5. I'm just going to use 0.5 on both sides, so that's just 1 inch. So make sure that when you're doing this, you know you have to include the 1 inch on the waistline, so that is going to cover for it. Okay, whatever you take out from your pattern, you have to return it back whatever you take out from your measurement, you always have to return it back on your pattern, so that after cutting you're not going to have any tight part or any loosed part. So it's very, very important whenever you're drafting pattern, anything you take out you have to return it back. So now I'm going to be putting quarter of my waist measurement plus the 1 inch dart allowance. Then for the back line, which is the full length, I'm going to be putting the quarter of my hip line on that line as well. So after doing that, all I need to do is just connect the dots, everything together, the lines together. So you can see this is very easy and simple to do. So now the next thing is to determine your neckline. Remember that we have a new line for our neckline, as you can see, the broken line that I drew. Okay, so we have, that is the new line. So now you have to determine how deep you want your neckline to be. Remember, we already came down by 4 inches on the shoulder line, so that means it's already 4 inches deep already. So now you need to determine how deeper you want it to be. So I just came down like 1.5 inches. Then after that I connect. See the way I connected it, you can see. So this is how to achieve or your off shoulder dress. So it's not going to have the same measurement, the same shape as your normal dresses. So you can see the way our shoulder is. So that is exactly how to go about your off shoulder. So you can apply this to many other designs of your off shoulder that you would like to create in the future. So it's as simple as that. That's we are done with, or we are almost done actually. So now after doing that, we also need to work with the front. Just the same way you determine how deep you want your back to be, you also determine how deep your front is going to be, putting into consideration that you already came down by 4 inches. So I just came down by 1 inch because I don't want it to be too deep in the front, okay, so that the bust is not going to be showing. So I want it to be all covered. So I just came down by 1 inch. Then the next thing is to just shaping it. You can see the way I did. So just see the way I'm doing. So it's just the same way we did for the back, is the same way we are going to be doing for the front. So that is that about that. So now for the back line, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch on my waistline. So you can decide to connect yours directly to the waistline, okay, but for me, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inches. Yeah, so I decided to go with 1.5 inches. So instead of just connecting straight to my waistline, I came down a little bit from my waistline. This is optional, but that is what I am doing. You can also do the same thing. So now the next thing is you're going to cut it out, and we are going to be cutting from the under bust. We're going to be separating the under bust. I told you that that is where the gathers is going to stop. Okay, so we are going to do that now and cut all of our pieces out. So if you have any question, make sure you put it in the comment section. If you're confused about any other parts, just let me know. So you just watch out how I am going to be cutting out all of my pieces. So I need to replicate the same thing for the back. So I'm just trying to take the measurements that I used for the front so that it's going to be aligned with the back. So after doing that, then I'll just connect it straight down to the back's line so that we're going to have the same measurement. So you can see the way I'm cutting it. It's very important that you go through this same process. So now I'm going to be cutting the under bust away. You can see, so I separated the under bust from the remaining part. So, and I'm labeling it. It's very important for you to label all of your patterns. And the reason why you have to label it is because you might not actually, especially if you're not going to sew the outfit immediately, so it might get confusing later when you want to sew it. But once you've already labeled everything as much as possible, and there will be no room for confusion at all. Okay, so that is why I always emphasize label as much as possible. So the next thing is to cut it out on our fabric. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut all of my pieces out with my fabric. As you can see, I cut out lining for the lower part of the front. Then the side, I used 2 inches as my allowance. Then the upper part, I used ½ inch. Then the lower part, I used 1 inch, because I'm going to be folding it like this, because I'm not close to where my overlocker is and I want my work to be neat. So I left out 1 inch. So I'm going to use it to wrap it around so that I'm going to be able to seal the rough edges. If you're with your overlocker, you don't need to do this. So for the back, I did the same thing. I added 1 inch for my zipper allowance, then the same thing for the side, and also ½ inch all around. So just determine the amount of allowance that you want to leave. So now to the main part. For the front, see the center front, the side, I added 2 inches. Then for the front, center front, I added 12 inches, because that is where I'm going to be gathering. So from your center front, you add 12 inches or more. This is dependent on what you want. So after doing that, we are going to gather it back to the waist, to the under bust measurement. Remember that we cut it out from the under bust measurement. So on the upper part, I added 1 inch allowance. You also watch what I am doing. This is very simple. On the upper part, I added 1 inch. The under part, I added ½ inch, and I'm going to be using to join the lower part. Then the center, I added 12 inches. Just watch what I'm going to do. So we are going to you're going to fold the upper part. That was why I added 1 inch. So you can add 1 inch, 1.5 inches, okay, whatever you want. So now I already create channel. So I already made this string. Okay, so after you create your channel, you fold the upper part, you create your channel, then you're going to pass it through with your office pin or whatever method you use to pass anything through your channel. Okay, so you can make it your rope, you can make it as long as maybe like 30 inches for each. Remember, we have the right side and we have the left side. Okay, so you're going to now join the center part. You're going to come down by like 1.5 inches. After you've already created your channel, you can come by 1.5 to 2 inches, then you join the middle part. So you can see what I did. So you come down by 2 inches after your channel, then you sew the center front. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You see that this is very simple and very easy to do. Okay, so just follow the step. That is like the major thing about this milkmaid dress. So now I'm going to be working on the lower parts. Now what I'm going to be doing is optional, but I want to give it a bit of structure. So I'm going to be using boning. So I'm going to create channels to pass my boning through, because I'm using plastic boning. So I'm just going to mark where I'm going to be putting my channel. So make sure that the spacing in between is equal, but for the left and the right side. And mind you, I'm going to be creating my channel on the wrong side, so it's not going to be on the right side. So you can create yours on the right side so that your channel will be showing. That is optional, but I do not want it to show, so I'm going to be doing this on the wrong side, and I'm going to be using this bias tape as my channel. So I'm going to place the bias tape on it like so, and I'm going to stitch the sides down. And after doing that, all I need to do is to pass my boning through. So you stitch your bias down or your channel, then we're going to sew it through. Okay, so make sure that when you're passing your boning, you stop like half inch before where you're going to be joining to the upper parts, so that you can join the upper parts of your fabric to the lower parts easily, or else your needle is going to break and it's not going to pass through the boning. So please let us put that in mind whenever you are working with boning. So you have to leave allowance. Okay, so I've gone ahead to do all of that. I have You can see what I've done for the back. I've attached my lining to the back. I've sealed up everywhere, as you can see, and I've already held my darts. I've taken my darts for the left and the right side. So the next thing is for you to fix your zipper. So I'm going to be fixing my zipper with the allowance that I have left. So you can fix your zipper with however style you would like, or you can attach the down part before you even fix your zipper. This is totally optional. And make sure you iron as much as possible. It's very important when you're making any outfit, you iron as possible. So you can see I've already created channel for the lower part. Now look at the right side, look at how neat it is. But I'm not going to be passing my channel yet. So now look at the upper part. You can see what I told you to do. You come down by 2 inches and you stitch the center, and the side. I already passed my rope through the channel for one side. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing the same thing for the other side, but I want to do it on camera, so in case anybody is confused, so this is going to give you clarity. Yeah, so now I'm going to put my office pin through like that. Then I'm going to be passing it through the channel that I created, so you can watch what I am doing. So I already created my channel. Make sure that your channel is wide enough for your rope to pass through. Okay, so you have to put that in mind. If your rope is half inch, you have to make sure your channel is at least like 0.625. Okay, so you should be able to accommodate the rope, or if you can even use elastic. Okay, so just make sure it's wide enough to accommodate your elastic with a little bit of allowance. Okay, so you have to put that in mind. You shouldn't use like maybe, okay, just because I said 1 inch, you just use 1 inch, and then your rope at the end of the day is wider. So you have to put that into consideration, especially when you are creating your channel. So your rope should determine how wide your channel is going to be. So you can see how I passed my rope through the channel easily, so there is no discomfort or no struggle. You can see how I did it. Okay, so you just pull it gently, and when you get to the end, you double stitch that part just to hold it in place. Okay, so you make sure you stitch that part down severally. Okay, so I'm just going to be using pin to hold it, pending the time that I'm going to go to my sewing machine to stitch it down. And you can see, so after that, you're just going to fold it. You can see that our milkmaid dress is coming to life. Remember that we left 5 inches. It was 5 inches we came down, we came in from the center, front, while we were drafting our pattern. So you have to make sure that it is that 5 inches. So you just um gather it to 5 inches, and you can always adjust it. So you measure and you see that, okay, yeah, you have 10 inches in total. So now for the lower part, we are going to be gathering it to the we are going to be gathering the upper part to the lower part. So make sure the center is facing the center, so you can notch the center of your lower part, so that you are sure that you are going to be doing the same thing on both sides. Then you go ahead to gather, or you can pleat, whichever one you think is going to work for you. So you go ahead and you pleat before you pleat to where your allowance is going to start from. You don't need to pleat where your allowance is. So after doing that, you need to seal up that rough edges. We are going to be placing our lining, and you're going to stitch on it like that. So after stitching on it, you turn it, you see that that part is already sealed. It's just like normal way that we cover the rough edges with lining. So it's very simple and very easy to do. So after doing that, after you already fixed your zipper, or you can decide not to fix your zipper yet, the next thing is to join the sides together. So after you've joined the lower part together, then you go ahead and you join your sides together. You join the side of both the right side and the left side. Then you also fix the bottom part. Okay, you gather. Remember, we're going to be gathering the bottom part as well. So it's as simple as that, and then we are done with this tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. Okay, so I decided to show you the outcome before we fix the bottom part. So as you can see, this is looking good, and I already fixed my boning, so you can see that there is a structure on the lower parts. You can see this is looking very pretty, even without putting on a mannequin yet. You can see how beautiful it is. Now look at the back as well. Look at how neat it is. So both inside and outside, they are neat. And I've already gone ahead to fix my sleeve as well on one part. So you see how neat the inside is. I told you you're going to stitch your lining on it. Look at how neat it is. So you have to make sure that your work is neat. Make sure you iron as much as possible so that your work is going to look as professional as you can. So now I'm using just 3 yards for this, so my fabric is very limited, so I really can't do a lot of puffiness. So now for the sleeve, the remaining fabric, I just had to manage it. I think I have like 8 inches for the length. Then I already created channel for the upper part, and I created channel for the lower part because I'm going to be fixing my elastic. I'm going to be passing my elastic through. Okay, so if you want to do yours, I think I just have like 12 inches on fold here, but if you want to do yours to be very puffy, make sure you have at least 40 inches on fold. So if you have 40 inches on fold for how wide your sleeve is going to be, it's going to be very full and it's going to look very, very puffy. So now I just want to show you how to get your armhole. So it's very simple. You just place your fabric like that, and then you just use the main outfit to cut out your armhole plus allowance. Don't forget, you have to add your allowance to it because we already stitched the side of the main outfit, so you have to add your own allowance to it. So it's as simple as that. You don't need to rack your brain or anything. Just place the end part, the open part, just place it on the main fabric, and you cut out the same shape of your armhole on your sleeve. So I'm going to be cutting out 5 inches of elastic, so 5 inches in length. You can make yours shorter, but because I've not seen this person, and I didn't take this person measurement to send to me, so I like to leave room for to maneuver. So I don't want it to be too tight or too, so it's better for it to be a bit loose and you can adjust than for it to be tight, you understand? So that is what I ended up doing. So you're just going to pass your elastic through. For the bottom part, you pass this elastic through also for the upper part as well. So if you've got to this point and you're yet to subscribe, please make sure you do so. And remember, when you get to the end there, you have to stitch that part. Make sure that your elastic does not run through, so you stitch that part to hold it down. Then you keep on passing the remaining one until you get to the end. So make sure you share this video. Also make sure you try it out. So if you're going to be trying it out, let me know in the comment section. Type I will be trying it out. Also drop your name, drop where you're watching from, and let us meet ourselves in the comment section. So I would like to meet you. If you have any tutorial you're finding difficult, just let me know, so I'm going to try to work on it. So I'm just using pins to hold the elastic down pending the time that I'm going to take it to the sewing machine to stitch it down. So you stitch it on both sides. I'm going to repeat the same thing for the upper parts as well. So I'm just trying to do this on camera so that you are not confused on any parts at all. Okay, so I'm just going to pass it through like so. So after you must have passed it through, the next thing is to attach it to your main outfit. Now see the way I am attaching it. So you open one part like so and you attach. Then you pick the other side as well. Make sure right side is facing right side. Then you also stitch. You can see that this is a bit different from the normal way that you stitch your sleeve. So you just follow the line and you stitch on both sides as well. If any part is opening or coming out, just top stitch on it by the front side or the back side. So you just top stitch on it. Okay, so everything's going to lay flat. So now for the gathered part of the lower part, all you need to do, you go around and you take the measurement of the lower part. Make sure you take the measurement round like I am doing. So you measure it round to the last point. So after getting that, you're going to cut out times 3. So let's say you got 20 inches for the circumference. You're going to be cutting out 60 inches, at least 60 inches. So you're going to have very full effects. Then for the length, if the upper part of your fabric by the side is 20 inches and your total length is 30 inches, so you're going to be cutting out 10 inches for the length of the gathered part. So please put that in mind. It's the side that you're going to be calculating, not the backline. So from your waist, or if you came down by 1 inch, just like I came down by, so the remaining part, that is what you're going to be subtracting. So you subtract the full length from the upper part that you already cut. So that is going to be the length. Then the width is the circumference times 3. Then you go ahead and you gather it just like I did. I gathered it. After gathering it back to the measurement, I'm going to be placing it and I'm going to stitch on it. If you don't want to gather, you can go ahead and you pleat. But because I have limited fabric, I told you I'm working with just 3 yards, so gathering is not as full as I would like. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you try this out. This is the final result. This is looking good. This is looking good. So make sure you try it out and let me know if you have any difficulty. So thank you. Good morning, afternoon, and night, wherever you are watching me from. Oh my god, this is beautiful, and I'm so glad I was able to make this. So see you in my next tutorial. Till then, bye.